Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Arc Studio YouTube channel. In this case, I'm going to show interior design rendering tutorial with the Enscape 3.5. So we have the 3D environment at the left side, so I'm going to maximize the Enscape in here. And this is the environment that we have in there. First of all, I'm going to create my camera shot, so I'm going to orbit in my environment. For example, something like that can be good, but it's a little bit amateur and basic. So always try to use some angles like this for the interior design and rendering. So first of all, I'm going to press F, click on the create view and create my first camera shot for this job. I'm going to unlink the visual setting. CAD name is not important. The X is not important, Z is not important, but the Y is your eye height. For example, I prefer to use some low value camera height. For example, 0.8 and enter. Or maybe something about 1 meter. Or 1.16. So I'm going to reduce the pitch to the 0. And the Y is about 307 degree, and the sun position is really important. So how we can manage the sun position? For managing the sun position, you need to move the azimuth and altitude together. So I'm gonna hold shift and right click and change the time of the day for myself. For example, something near to the morning or maybe mid time of the morning. For example, 8 a.m. can be really good. So my altitude is about 30 degree and azimuth is really important. So I can move the sun direction, and I need some type of sun like that for my interior lighting. So I prefer to use some number about 90 degree, or for some type of angled sun I can use 104 degree. Or it's a little bit dark, so I can change it to the 100 and click on the create view. So as you can see, we create our first view shot in Enscape, and now time for the rendering. I'm going to click on it. My time and all of the settings set for me like that. So I need some 2-point perspective. I'm going to click on the visual setting and start my job. So I start my job with the field of view. I need a little bit zoom on my target, so some number about 74 can be really good for this job. I'm gonna re-exposure my screen a little bit, about 57%. Outline is not important, and the depth of field at the final of this chapter. So in the image bar, I'm gonna use the auto contrast. So the detection is automatic about the lighting, shadows and highlights. Saturation can be a little bit increased in this render. So 106 can be good. And I can reduce it maybe to the 103%. If I want some warm interior render, I can reduce the color temperature to some number near to the 1500 Kelvin. But if I want some type of cold rendering, I can increase it. For this scene, I want to use 6000 Kelvin for my render. Motion blur is not important, and lens flare related to the sun flare and light flare on your camera shot. When I increase the bloom option, you can see the changes in the floor, and I need some type of artistic render, so I can increase the bloom a little bit, about 34%. And now when I increase the lens flare, you can see some type of small flares in your render. But don't use it on the high values, because sometimes it destroys your render. Something about 44% can be good. Vignette is 0 and chromatic abbreviation is 0. So in the atmosphere, I'm going to turn off the fog option in here, and some brightness. When I decrease it, as you can see, we can see some type of rainy HDRI in our environment. So I prefer to use it on the default mode. And shadow sharpness, look at these places in here. When I increase the shadow sharpness, as you can see, all the shadows get much sharper, but it can be sometimes destroy your render. But in this case, it's good working. So 88% is good. And the wind option is 0. So in the skybox, I can turn on the source to the white cubes and see some type of city HDRI outside of my window. If I want some type of sharp, clear and wonderful lighting, I can turn off the Cyrus amount in the clouds bar. When I turn off the Cyrus amount, you can see the changes and the sun power is much directly than the past. So variety is the 0 and density is 0 too. And the final time for the rendering. So I'm going to turn on the depth of field, turn off the autofocus and play with the focal point, and I want to focus on the flower, vase and the sofas. So 4.10 is good and the depth of field is something about 16%. And I can increase the exposure to the 61 for example, and increase the rendering quality to the ultra. When I click on the rendering mode and save it on my desktop for example, I can save it by the PNG or JPG and the name is default. So I press save. If you like this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We need your support. Thanks for your watching. Thanks for your time and goodbye.